What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. It is episode number 48, returning today with the second episode of Season 6, and what a season opener we had. You see it on the right hand side there. It was indeed just massive in terms of transfers. Morgan gives White leaving to Real Madrid for a club record fee of £68.5 million. Club record sale, I should say, but two players we brought in, they're not too bad either, because we signed Jamie Bino Gittins first, and then signed Warren Zaya Emery from Wolves as well. So two big new club record signings on the back of a club record departure, and because of the money we started with, I mean, we said it, I don't even think we're done for transfers yet. There's 3 weeks to go till the end of the window, and we still got 72 mil to play with. I don't think we're finished yet. We do have a bid for Khan, that is our young Fijian winger, but you see there on the right-hand side. I said this is one of the reasons why I'm struggling to loan my players out this year. You'll notice that a lot of clubs, they will only agree loan terms with you if they can buy them at the end of the loan. Sometimes they will though, and when that's the case, you've got to be very thankful. So we're going to be loaning out to Walsall, and I think that's going to be our 5th youth player leaving on loan. So yeah, tons of great academy graduates here, but if they're going to develop like Hassan, they need first team football out on loan. And there's another bid comes in for Onana. That's the second bid we've had for Amadou now. Once again, I'm going to turn that one down. Part of the best defensive record in the league last season. I have to say, if I'm going to make a new signing now, I mean, that is one of the targets I've got, Archie Gray, on the back of the sell he gives White. I think it probably would be for another squad player. The first 11 now is fine. I don't think we need to improve it. I did flirt with the idea of possibly replacing Onana with a world-class CV. We don't need to do that. We really don't. We had the best defensive record in the division last season. So I think it would be either another squad midfielder, or possibly another squad defender, or possibly a new backup goalkeeper as well. Actually, that's not a bad shout, because as Khan is going to leave and join Walsall on loan, we are trying to loan out Joey Jones, and if we do that, we'll only be left with the one goalkeeper. And I said before, normally you can get away with that, no problem at all, but I like to be safe rather than sorry, and whilst I wouldn't be against bringing back Carl Hind for a third time with Arsenal, maybe I will. Instead, I'm going to go after someone of a bit more quality, relegated last year with Leeds United, and I'm going to try and make him my Stefan Ortega. Yep, 81 rated, 27 years old. German goalkeeper dropping to the second tier. That's what Ortega did with Arminia Bielefeld before being signed by Pep Guardiola. That's what I'm going to do with Noah. Relegated with Leeds, but I'm bringing him back to the Premier League. Never used him before, I'll be honest. I don't really know anything about him, but I should be able to get him for close to valuation. Let's go ahead and bring him in. And again, I know you don't have to sign a backup goalkeeper. I know you can get away with only one for the entire season the vast majority of the time, but safe rather than sorry, and also realism as well. I do think it's a good idea to have at least a competent backup goalkeeper, to say the very least. 17 mil valuation, and Noah is coming to Portman Road. Yeah, I've had this debate with my friends before, and I stand by this. Outside of jobs like billionaire's son, I believe that the role of a backup goalkeeper is probably the best job you could have in the world when it comes down to minimal stress for maximum reward. Keeping your body in check, flying all over Europe, sometimes winning major honours and being part of history, but very rarely having to play, yet also earning mega money as well. I mean, where is the problem? When I was younger, I wanted to be Peter Schmeichel, and now I'd rather be Noah Atubolu, because he is in on a 30 grand a week, 5-year deal. Welcome to Portman Road, Noah. Yep, really excited to give him a go for the first time ever, but I say give him a go, we won't really see him play much. I mean, he might only feature 1 or 2 times a season in the Carabao Cup, or possibly the FA Cup as well, but yeah, to me, it is the greatest job in the world. Backup goalkeeper at a top level team. Yeah, sod being Edison. I'd rather be Scott Carson nowadays. Noah is in on a 5-year contract. I mean, honestly, 30 grand a week. You know, the national average salary in the UK is 30 grand a year. Now, this is a week. Okay, so he's going to be earning over $250,000 every single year. He's got sponsorship opportunities, you know, and so on and so forth. You know, it's a 5-year guaranteed contract. So that's not every year where he needs to prove himself to stay in the job. He's got 5 years guaranteed. I mean, and he's barely going to play. He won't be in high pressure situations. He gets to travel all over Europe. He gets access to the best facilities, training facilities, nutritionists, so on and so forth. I mean, honestly, I stand by it. I really do. I think, apart from, again, like billionaire's son, what is the best job for minimal stress to maximum reward for both money and also opportunities? It's got to be, as you're turning that bid down from Georgie there from AC Milan. I might just block the offers, man. I'm keeping him here. I can't think of another job where you get all the perks, all the rewards, all the money, and yet there's basically no stress. So I've agreed a split with USG, the Belgian side, who we faced in the Europa League last year, but also Boca Juniors as well. What an experience, man. 2 years playing in Buenos Aires. That would be absolutely class. I went there a couple of years ago, and I went to a Boca game. It was a terrible game, finished 0-0, but it was such a cool experience, man. And that would be a class period of growth for that young man there. Right, let's jump into our first game of the season. It is the Super Cup as we take on AC Milan. Last year winning the Champions League, we of course won the Europa League. And heading into this, well, you know the saying is that it's a glorified friendly, this competition, when you lose it, but it's an honour when you win it. Honestly, I do want to win it though. I really don't. I won't be too disappointed if we don't start off the season with silverware and a victory, but it is a trophy, and since Ipswich Town have only had 4 major honours in club history, this is a minor honour, not a major honour. It's the first time going for it, it's the first time trying to win it, and thus I want it in the cabinet. Let's try and start off with a win in our first game of the season, and silverware too, always a great way to start the campaign. Let's see how we get on against last year's Champions League winners. Come on, Ipswich Town. So for those of you who may be new to football, you might be wondering what makes the distinction between a minor honour and a major honour? So, first of all, I want to say it's subjective for a lot of people, but the general rule of thumb, or what I've seen it as, is quite a simple one. A major honour is something which has, well, first of all, a lot of prestige to it, but also is what you call a top level competition. Now, this is league and cup, so it can be a top flight league in countries, so you're talking the Premier League, the Bundesliga, the Serie A, and so on, or the FA Cup, the Copa del Rey, the DFB Pokal, and so on. And a minor honour is one where it's like a kind of like a mini competition. For example, the Charity Shield, or the Community Shield, or the Spanish Super Cup, or the UEFA Super Cup as well. That's what you call a minor honour, if you will. And again, it can be considered subjective, but that's the general rule that most people adopt. And thus the Super Cup, winners between the Champions League and the Europa League, it's a one-game competition, and thus it's not what you'd consider to be a major honour. It is still a trophy though. I'd still like to win it, as Balker makes a good save there and keeps it 0-0 18 minutes in. So in that case, I'm sure some of you will be wondering, hang on a second, Doxy boy, does that mean the Carabao Cup is a major honour? Well, yes, technically yes, the Carabao Cup is indeed considered a major honour. Now, the prestige of the competition may be a lot lower than the FA Cup, for example, although because of the devalue of the FA Cup over the past decade or so, I guess the bridge has been a little bit closed now, if you will, a little bit narrower, if you will, in terms of prestige. But technically, yes, the Carabao Cup would still count as a... Amin Adley! Denied by Mike. The Carabao Cup would still count as a major honour, even though I've got a record of saying I believe it should be scrapped, and I'm not the only one that thinks that, and it is not considered as reputable as a lot of other major honours. Technically, the Carabao Cup is still a major honour. So yeah, ranking of competitions, major versus minor, that's the general rule of thumb. But again, a lot of it is subjective. Warren on his debut, having a decent debut so far, hasn't done a lot wrong, as we're still tied at 0-0. Here's Jamie, and now Georgie, as we look for that opening goal in what's been a tight one here. Still deadlocked, as Warren finds Georgie, gets a shot away, and ripples the side of the net. I'm not sure Mike got a touch. No, he did. Excellent save by the Frenchman then, as it remains deadlocked for now, and he claims that corner too. Gotta say, I think this might be going to spot kicks, you know. Oh, no. Gotta get there. Didn't. It's so annoying how, like, your AI teammates won't put a foot in unless you're controlling them. You don't get the help, and it's why the game's become a lot more difficult. Onana there could have put a foot in, and he was like, no, I'll just leave it. Try and come across with an Afio, couldn't get there on time, and it's turned in by Bayer for the opener. Milan in front, and I think they might be celebrating this Super Cup win alongside last year's Champions League. Haven't quite been on it, but there is still time. Christiansen off the post, and Milan will get it away. They might have lost their licensing, but they haven't lost. Oh, Jamie! Hold on. Sorry, I just had to concentrate there. Come on! Is there prestige as one of the biggest clubs in world football? But we have got one of the best attacks in world football, and we deserve that as well, man. Seriously, for all the attacking quality in this game, we just needed to take a chance. It was brilliant work from Jamie down the right on his debut, and Georgie, subject of a lot of transfer speculation. We said stay, you'll continue to start, and he's just belted in our leveler. Ipswich equalise. 14 to go. Is there one late twist in the tail? Last chance. What a ball. Williams for the win. Final kick of the game, and how good is he? When you talk about great young talents becoming world class now, you've got to throw this name out as one of the top dogs. Nico Williams, with basically the final kick, has won AC Milan the Super Cup. And we will not start off with silverware and a minor honour. He is a heck of a talent, man. What a player. To be fair, that was a really fun game. That was really, really fun to play, man. And I've said this before, I genuinely do not mind losing a game if I've had fun playing it. Because that's what video games are all about, right? And that was a really enjoyable one to play. Swung like a pendulum in terms of momentum. Could have gone either way right at the end. Could have been us. Wasn't AC Milan end up starting off with the Super Cup as we lose in our first competitive game of the season. Yeah, bit of a shame, bit disappointing, but to be honest here, if you were to offer me the Super Cup or the Community Shield or 3 points on match day 1, I've said this before, genuinely, I would rather start off with the 3 points on match day 1, genuinely. Even though I'll be giving up a minor honour, I'd still start off with 3 points on match day 1 over the Super Cup. So we'll see if we can do that. What we are going to see as well is our backup goalkeeper loaned out. Joey Jones off to La Bombonera in Boca Juniors, with Boca Juniors for the next 2 years. Right, let's go then. First league game of the season, and it's a tricky one as well as the Tractor Boys travel to Old Trafford, where last season Manchester United finished 8th in the table, missing out on European football altogether, if I remember correctly. But for us, after finishing runners-up to Arsenal, the board have said, once again, just stay in the top 4, stay in the Champions League, we'll take that. But I want to be in a title race for the second year in a row, and this year, unlike last season, I don't want to bottle it towards the end and win the whole thing. So, first game of the season, tricky test away at Old Trafford, and like I said, I'd rather lose the Super Cup and start off with the 3 points. Let's make sure we go and do that. Come on, let's switch time. Yeah, when you look at how tight league championships can be separated by, as Brian Brobby is denied by an excellent save early from Bulka, and the ex-Red Devil himself going to get it away. Oh, I mean, every point is valuable. So if you can start off with a win, especially against a team who you perceive to be a threat to that championship, and I believe Manchester United will be, despite having an off year last season, that's a massive, massive bonus and a great way to lay down your intentions for in the very first game. And so, I know it sounds crazy, but, you know, Charity Shield, Super Cup, minor honour. Believe me, if I can only have one, I mean, you know, obviously I'd prefer both, but if I can only have one, Super Cup, Charity Shield, or Jorgensen, or the 3 points, Lord knows I'd rather start off with a win on the first game of the league season. Good start to the game here though, both teams going at it early, exactly what you'd expect from two teams going for the championship this season. It's going to be Hassan's all day, all day, all day. Keep going, keep going, keep going. 1-0. Who else but he? Amin Adli once again. I'm gonna say this right now. If he did not have his injuries last season, Ipswich Town Premier League winners. I'm saying it. I'm saying it, no disrespect to the Gunners, they won the title fair and square and they deserved it. But I truly believe if Amin did not miss 5 months of football with the form and the goal to game ratio he had, I believe we would have been champions. His injury was the biggest of the many we had during the season. If he was fit for the whole campaign, we would have won the title. So second half's getting underway, but I've just noticed that Amin Adli has got another knock. Where did that come from? I didn't see that. Where did he pick that knock up from? Oh, this guy's got bones made out of glass. Where did that injury come from? I didn't even see a moment where he went down. But fingers crossed it'll just be a bruise. Oh, that's got to be at least a booking as Warren was running through. But hopefully that'll just be a bruise there. It's been a very feisty game as Kirkez will go into the referee's book. Oh no, it's a straight red. Wow. Straight red card for the Hungarian. I'll be honest here, I don't think that is one. That to me should just be a yellow. But we often say it, luck, it will balance itself out. It is a bad foul to be fair. But I think a yellow would have sufficed. In the end, it's a straight red. And the Red Devils down to 10. And I think now, holding on to this 1-goal lead, we should be holding on to the 3 points too. Cracking season opener this. Very fun indeed. And now we've got that man advantage as Zaire Emery. Oh, he's going to take it all the way. Off the crossbar as we go for the dagger. 34 to go. And, you know, the Ipswich Town way is normally grind out the 1-0. I say go for a second now. We've got that man advantage. We've got the extra body. I say go for a second. It's not over yet, even with that man advantage. This is a fantastic Manchester United team. So, believe me, taking nothing for granted as Robbie gets away from Jake O'Brien. Balker with the save. And Christiansen nods it back. Great work from the Dane. Even better work from the Pole in goal as we still lead by 1. That's a cracking throw, that. And what a fantastic season opener this has been. 15 to go. Can we claw it out? To the final 5. That should do it as Jamie gets on the run. George is ahead. He'll slide him through. This should do it. There we go. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And now back in. And Adley's in the middle. And this will be it. Come on! An injury for Amin. We worry about that every time we see it. But what we won't worry about is dropping the points on matchday 1. Tractor boys go to Old Trafford and winning the first game of the season. Even on matchday 1, it's a huge 3 points and we will take it. Big victory at Old Trafford. And as we do go back to the main menu as well, Amin Adley's injury, fingers crossed it would be a bruise. I believe it will be because he soldiered on there fine. And actually no, I just saw it on the right, a sprained knee. So 4 weeks. I mean, he's got bones made out of glass, man, honestly. I mean, last season he missed 5 months worth of football. And he started off on matchday 1 with a man in a match display, 2 goals in a brace, and he's done for a month. You can't keep him fit, man. Teams, they can't stop him, so they've got to injure him. And so I wonder now as well if David will agree to a rotational squad role because, you know, he's below 2 players in rating. Now that Georgie's grown a rating to 85, I think that he might agree a rotational squad role now because normally a player asks for a role, a squad role, based on their current overall rating. And if it's higher or the same rating as players in their same position, they'll ask for important or in some cases crucial. But if it's lower, if it's 1 rating lower, they might ask for important. But oftentimes if it's lower, they'll be okay accepting rotation. So fingers crossed David's okay with that. And he's not. That's tough. I mean, the thing is, though, if Amin does keep getting injured, then David will be starting. I trust David over Delapse. With that being the case, I'm going to give him to it. He may not be important all the time, but definitely in the times when Amin is down, he will be. So I'm going to give it to him. It means I'll have to give him a bit more game time, but if Amin keeps getting injured, he'll certainly get it no matter what, because I trust David over Delapse. So 60 grand a week. Oh, wow. Wanting a big contract in order to stay, but I said it'll be a challenge to get everyone involved at one point and regularly enough. But I will figure it out. I am not letting go of the president, especially with Amin Adley's injury problems. David is staying here. Yep, let's do it. Following game, Chelsea at home, heading into this one, our first game at Portman Road this season, where taking on Maresca's side, once again, whilst they weren't in the title race towards the end of the campaign, they were one of those several clubs that were involved in it midway through the season, and I believe they will be a challenger again. So for our first game in East Anglia, again, a win against a perceived title rival so early on into the season will do us the world of good. Let's start off with our first win in our first home game, and back-to-back wins to start the league campaign off. Come on, Ipswich Town. Good Chelsea side, this, I must say. It's been built well in the save, and they've kept hold of a lot of their good players too. So it certainly won't be an easy... Oh, hang on. What a start. Won't be an easy one, but what a way to mark the extension of your first goal of the season against your former team. The president. We can't lose the president, man, honestly. David Washington slipped through and with a first-time strike beats the keeper from 17 yards. Yeah, I wasn't prepared to lose him, man. I simply couldn't. It's going to be hard to give him enough first-team football to keep him happy, but I think we'll figure it out. I do. I mean, it's a long old season. You know, there'll be a lot of rotation required. Adley's already got an injury. We know that probably won't be the first with his problems with injuries. And there's another injury there as Chelsea get back on level terms instantly. But who was that that just went down? I think, was that Davis who went down? Please, not the captain. Was it Davis? No. Was it Koleosho? Yes. So this is why I'm not worried about David. He'll get the game time because we can't keep our players fair. Honestly, it is injury after injury. Oh, that's a pen. That's a pen in East Anglia. Cole Palmer gets away from Davis, beats him to the run through, and then gets a penalty. There's no doubt about that. You know, sometimes penalty decisions, I say they can be quite debatable. There is nothing debatable about that. Davis beaten for pace, and then trips eyes Cole Palmer down. He won it. He'll take it. It is going to be Palmer who hits the post as it remains at 1-1. You know, sometimes you see a penalty saved, you very rarely see the AI fail to at least get it between the frame and the goal. Let off the hook, off the wood, work. So second half underway as we remain tied at 1-1. First league goal conceded. But in what's been a tough game with the conditions. Pass is going astray. I definitely could see someone winning this, and right now you put your money on Chelsea. Might have taken the lead, but haven't had the best of games out there as Koleosho slips it through. Davis trying to make amends. Has a dig from range and is denied. And Chelsea will get it away. Could see someone winning this, but could go either way. And these conditions are absolutely horrible. And I know I keep going on about it like a broken record, and I do need to stop, but I still haven't got to grips with it yet. I've had the game for about, what, 7 weeks now? Yeah, I still haven't got to grips with it. I can't do anything in these conditions. It's going to be 2-1. I can't play in this. I really can't. Chelsea are going to come from behind to win it late, but I know I could turn this off, but I'm not going to because it's realistic and it adds to the challenge, but I can't bloody stand it. I really can't. It is so hard to play him. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You know, it is so hard to play in. You know, it's just the most difficult condition, and I'm gonna have to learn though. I'm gonna have to get better. It's as simple as that. And you know, it's all about taking accountability. How often have we said it? Yeah, I can blame the conditions. Yeah, I can say it's ridiculously tough, but it's on me to adapt to them. That's what the best do, man. It's what I've got to do. Yeah, so for those that don't play FC this year, basically you now have something called wind effects and the weather effects. You used to have an effect on the game, but now it affects it even more so. You know, the ball will get held up on the turf a lot more in wet conditions, for example. And as for the wind effects as well, you can turn it off if you want, but I like it on dynamic, so it's obviously going to be, you know, varying during the game and game by game, which is obviously a lot more realistic. Oh, for those curious, by the way, I do play on sliders all default, untouched on 50 as well. But yeah, it's very difficult. You know, it's very, very difficult to to play in, because you just know that, you know, especially in England where the weather is so unpredictable, it is so hard because you can never truly feel like you're able to adjust to it. And as for the injury for Koleosho, that's also a 4-week injury as well. So 2 of our regular starters down so early on into the season. The difficulty continues to be immense. And so as deadline day is here, we do have a lot of money still remaining in the budget on the back of our signing of Noah, 53 mil total. And since 2 players have gone down, I could look to bring someone in for the squad, but honestly, I think we'll be okay. We've got enough depth. I'm looking forward to giving Fry a bit more game time, and also David Hassan, who's come back from loan as well, and still looks pretty decent. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be alright. So I'm not going to panic buy on deadline day. Yes, 2 injuries early, but I think we'll be okay. And I'm going to keep the money in the budget in case we do need to make a signing in January. So deadline day is going to be very quick. No outgoings, no incomings, just going straight through. And there's a bid for Ben Johnson from Crystal Palace, but I like him as a squad right back. You know, he's been here since the very beginning. And when I do need to give Christiansen a breather, he normally does a pretty decent job, to be fair. I prefer him to Nathan Patterson, so going to keep him here. And there's a bid came in for Hutchinson as well. Going to turn that one down. 21.4 mil from Forest. But now they're a championship side. It'll be a decent pickup for Forest, but with Koleosho and Adley going down, Amari is definitely going to see some minutes this season. So deadline day comes to an end. You see the top deals there. Wow! Now I'm pleased to see that. Martin Odegaard, Premier League winner of Arsenal last season, is off, bowing out for 121.3 mil to RB Leipzig. Kouassi, not sure whose region that is, but he's left Nice to join Spurs for 98.1 mil. And Chelsea have strengthened even further. Eder Militao leaving Leverkusen to join the Blues for £66.9 million. Kind of reminds me of when Thiago Silva joined them. That's quite realistic, I'd say. But anyway, deadline day comes to an end, and we're now going to see the draw for the league phase. And who will be taking on as Manchester United just signed Gravenberch as well. It's annoying that you can't see it on the right-hand side anymore, which is quite frustrating. But what we'll do is we'll look in the calendar, we'll see who will be taking on in the league phase, what fixtures we've got. Well, we'll have Fiorentina on match day 1, we'll have Roma, Slavia Prague. Oh, Barca away. Shame it's not the new camp in the save, but Olympiacos in Greece, Midtjylland, who we faced last year in the Europa League, and the final 2 away in Lisbon against Sporting and at home to Bayer Leverkusen. Those are some tough fixtures there. Right, let's do one more and we'll end on this. Our first game outside of the transfer window and our second away day of the season. After winning on match day 1 at Old Trafford, a great way to start off our away form this season, but after already having a loss just 2 games in, we simply cannot afford not to have 2 victories and 6 points taken from a possible 9 in our first 3 games. Bournemouth away in Dorset, which needs to be 3 points and a good, strong, convincing win. Come on, Ipswich Town. I have to say, one of those cool things I like seeing in career mode is when an AI team signs a player that you signed for that team when you were using them, if that makes sense. So you might notice for Bournemouth, someone through the middle there. Well, if you watch my Bournemouth Football Manager say a few years ago, such a fun one. Martin Batterina, the Batman. Yeah, he's been signed by Bournemouth in the same as well. It's one of those really cool things when it happens where it's like, oh yeah, I did it first, you know. I did it first. As Enisu now is through, dinks it over Bulka, and what a horrible start to the season. A goal down 10 minutes in as the Turkish forward sends Bournemouth into a 1-goal lead. This is awful. Sometimes league champions don't lose more than 1 game all season long. We're going to be losing 2 in 3 games. I mean, that is just awful in terms of a start. 2 injuries as well. Well, we've said it. This is the most difficult version of the franchise I've ever played. And it ain't getting any easier. You know, I genuinely believe that because of the difficulty and the quality of teams in the Premier League, and the fact that the weather tends to be quite poor, which does impact the gameplay as well. I'm going to say something here which might sound a bit ridiculous, but I genuinely believe, so Nana's header goes across the line and is cleared away. I think we've got more chance of winning the Champions League than we do the Premier League. Genuinely, I believe that. I think this year we have got more chance of winning the Champions League than the Premier League. It is just that difficult. As Anafio's pass is cut out, but Christensen's makes it through. And if we lose this game, then yeah, I'll stand by it. More chance of winning the Champions League than the Premier League. Batarina across, Enisu now makes it 2. Absolute nightmare of a start to the campaign. It could barely be worse. I was pleased to win that Europa League last year, as that's going to be a second booking. That's going to be a second booking. He's already on 1, and that's going to be his second, and that will be Bournemouth down to 10. But straight red card comes out, but it's going to be for a second yellow. You see there. We are off to a disastrous start. We really are. We need a miracle to get back in this. We've got a helpline, but now we need to take it. Georgie into David. Great roulette. How's your finish? Wide. How many chances have we had in this first? We had about 7 shots. Doxy boy, don't you dare point the fingers at anyone else but yourself, mate. This is on you. You got to do better. Simply put, you got to do better. Because we're going to go 3-0 down against, almost 3-0 down against 10 men. This is poor from me. No one to blame but me. There's another injury. Someone's gone down. Someone's gone down. David's going to go take it coast to coast here. David's going to go take it coast to coast. And he'll finish. No, he won't. Onana with a save, but another injury. Who is that that's gone down now? This is ridiculous. Players are dropping like flies out there. As that's going to be a booking for Zaire Emery. This is an absolute disaster. It's free. It's free. It's free. I'm calling it now. I literally, I do not know what to say. I do not know what to say. Georgie going down. I am sure that will be for longer than a bruise. And against 10 men Bournemouth, we are 3-0 down. And there was me saying this year I want to target a treble. Oh yeah, this is a treble, alright. A treble of goals conceded away in Dorset. Embarrassing. It's shameful. Humiliating. Should have joined Spurs when I had the chance at the summer. Oh my, this is embarrassing. Well, absolutely no two ways about it. It has been a nightmare start to the new season. Jamie has got us a goal for a consolation, but it's all it's going to be. It is 2 losses in our first 3 games, back to back. Oh my God, how easy is that? We lost the Super Cup, thank God Onana's there. And we're going to have 3 injuries to 3 of our key players to start the season off. Our main guy, Amin, his partner in crime, Georgie, and Luca Warwick going down as well. When you talk about disasters to start the season off, if we didn't have that win at Old Trafford, I'd probably be fearing the sack. This has been a nightmare start to the campaign. And unfortunately, this late rally, as David is to post, is not going to paper over the cracks at all. A terrible start to Season 6. And I'd like to say the only way is up, but I don't want to tempt fate. That'll do it for today's episode, guys. Massive thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. You'll have a fantastic day. I'll return in the next one where we've got to take accountability. Unlucky start with the injuries and poor decisions, but ultimately it hasn't been good enough. We'll head into the next episode. More big games in the league, including the champions Arsenal, and our first games in Europe as well, where we've got to turn it around after a disaster class to start the campaign. Have a great day. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.